What is up, everybody? This here is the brand spanking new, not even really new because like we took like a long ass break. I'm calling this like season two of the Open Bar for Content Creators podcast, and just a little give you a little bit of explanation of what's been going on since I haven't uploaded like an episode on the audio end or on the YouTube end, the video end. Just you go through the motions of making content, whether it's like making video game let's plays or discussion topics on like comics or anime or whatever. And I'm just going through the motions, and then I think as the guests will will probably agree at some point, like we get burnt out in terms of making content, so you kind of want to take a little break. And that's what I did with the podcast. And I also have a second podcast that I do as well, so that actually took a break as well. And that break became like basically the entire year, maybe most of 2019. So now I'm trying to rev it back up, trying to revive the podcast because you guys are listening. I see the numbers out there. You guys are listening or watching, and I really appreciate all the support. But yeah, we're gonna try to do open this back up again, just interviewing content creators out there. I think that are interesting, and they have I just want to hear their journey and how they came about. Like how did they come about with this idea, and then what are they doing now, and like just all the stuff in between. So today I have Gabriel here. He's part of the company known as Kobra Kawaii. You might have seen a lot of their shirts that are out there in the anime conventions, like just social media, because they're killing it on that end. Because I look at those shirts, I'm like, oh man, that's super cool, and it's really in the culture, and I really enjoy the stuff that they do. So Gabriel, how you doing today? Yeah, that's cool.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So this is actually a take two because I recorded another interview like last week. Everything was all fine. We had good conversation, but yet some setting in my audio didn't capture any of my conversation, so it was just the guest talking. And I was like, oh, OBS, no, it's always something. So yeah, but I got everything down here. My audios is set, like it's capturing right now, so hopefully there's no issues with this one. Because I hate to bug the people that I'm interviewing and say, oh, I'm sorry, we got to do it again, and then maybe it won't capture that same essence as the first time, but we'll do what we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do what we can for this one. So yeah, so Gabriel, tell us about like the reason why I have you here, because you and a group of friends have created the company called Kobra Kawaii. So like before we get into that, what we're doing right here on the video end is we're playing a lot of videos that this basically is the pre-birth of Kobra Kawaii, and we're just showing like the stuff that you guys were talking about in like terms of like the do's and don'ts of anime conventions. I guess it's stuff back then in like 2010, 2012, around that range. So
Yeah, it's like very old videos
yeah.
when me and Chris look like babies.
Yeah. I see the no beard and all that stuff. So you guys, yeah, we were all younger at that back then, back in
Yeah.
those years. But yeah, tell us about like the the birth of Kobra Kawaii. Like, how did that come about?
So me and my best friend Chris, we worked at a video game warehouse. Uh, that's where we met each other and kind of became friends. Is through this warehouse that was kind of like the backbone for an arcade in Boston.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Um, Yeah, so it was. We always left these wrong, so I just want to make sure I have this right.
No worries.
Um, so it was originally Game Universe, and so Game Universe is the arcade game store side of things, which was kind of like a mom and pop kind of setup
Oh, cool.
where
Yeah.
yeah, but it was like the illest mom and pop setup you could possibly have.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you've got your racks, your GameStop type racks with
Yeah.
all the games, and you come in and buy games. And then he also had my friend Jamie, who he worked for this dude Dave company, and then he like ran the store part of it, and Dave kind of ran the backbone eBay store, where the warehouse part where I worked at.
Okay.
And so like that was like the backbone. Then the company went under, and so because Dave did some got involved in some shady things happened in the company that it's kind of wild, but yeah, it kind of blew up. But then my friend Jamie actually ended up taking the remnants of that and actually making a new company, Game Underground, which you can go in Waltham, Mass. They're set up down there once Corona's all over. It's really awesome. Jamie's like one of my most awesome friends who I've known since I was 14. He gave me one of my first jobs at GameStop when I was 14. But so me and Chris worked at the warehouse part, and me and Chris were always talking about like explaining. We've always wanted to create things. We just did, you know, he was into screen printing. I was interested in screen printing. Yeah. I actually started doing stuff through like martial arts tricking and Soul Tricker, and it was kind of like I was playing around with that, and then he ended up, we started going to conventions together, and like, I guess the kind of like the pre-setup was we were trying to figure out stuff we could do together. And so we at first we were trying to do I was thinking YouTube channel, but it was like pretty early in YouTube channel days. Yeah. Like 2000, like late 2000s was still pretty early in it, so I didn't really know how to do a YouTube channel yet.
Yeah, it was pretty wild west.
Yeah, and I didn't know how to create content just yet, so the only thing I could think of was and it always happens every single time. I always like we do one thing and it blows up, and I can't figure out how to keep going with it. So
that's the struggle of content creating. When you find like the thing that does it for you, and then like you try to either recreate it or just try to do other stuff, then it's like, oh, you lost it. Yeah,
like, so our first thing was the do's and don'ts of anime cons.
Yeah.
And that, like, and so we did that video, and we put it in a couple places, and it kept getting shared. And, like, at the time, for us, it went viral. It may not be, like, today's version of viral, but, like, in 10-ish, it went decently viral for the anime community, you know, and now it's, like, almost 10,000.
Oh, nice.
Obviously, not like in 2020 views, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But we did notice we were one of the first ones to do it, and now if you look around, there's like tons of videos of do's and don'ts of anime conventions.
Yeah.
And
you guys are doing it already.
It's kind of like our trend is we come up with an idea, we don't quite capitalize on it the way we want to, but we do have the idea before everybody else. So creativity's there.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. It gets there, and then like, you're always chasing after it, basically.
Yeah, basically that's what happened after is I kept chasing after it. We linked up with like a dude that was doing conventions. He was trying to make a documentary about cosplaying. It's out there in the universe. It's bad. I don't recommend it. It's badly done. It's a lot of handheld footage. It's a lot of like, it looks a lot like our interviews on our channel, but the interviews that we did are way better lit than a lot of the videos that you have.
Yeah.
And so like it's tough. If you can find it, I think it might be called Cosplayer Nation. That was the group I was part of, so I'm assuming that's what the documentary is called.
Okay.
It's a tough watch. But basically, we were kind of using that to kind of get around to cons, and basically our whole concept was me and Chris, we were like, at the time we were like in our mid-20s, and so like he's like a couple of years younger than me. He's probably like 4 years younger than me. I don't think he's that far behind me. but we're both like in our mid 20s, and we're trying to figure out how we stay part of the con scene, like, you know, as we get older without being creepy old guys. We've been in cons, like me and him have been in con scene since we were teenagers. Like my first con was when I was 17, 18, just because it was like the first one that ever happened in Austin. And then, you know, I think he's like a year or two after that for being in cons. So we've been around it for a while. So we even back then, when I was a teenager, you'd see like really old dudes at cons.
Yeah, they're still there.
And some of them just came off creepy.
Okay.
And it wasn't like, oh, hey, this is a con, that's cool. You know, there's some older people that were like totally cool. Don't come off creepy at all. But then there are some that were just like super creepy, and I didn't want to be like that. I want to still somehow be connected and not be creepy. So I think the idea we came up with was create some kind of content that made sense to stay in it, whether it's art or merchandise or something, just like some way you're giving something while taking something. So that was kind of like our initial idea. We just trying to figure out how to do that. Okay. So like we did the interviews for a good couple of years, like 2 to 3 years, I would say. We were doing like on and off doing interview stuff. We maybe even like just 2 years. It was 2010, 11, 12, somewhere probably like stopped around 2012. We were still trying to figure out stuff. And then one day he like came up to me and he was like, hey, check this out. And he had printed out a shirt, and it was I believe it was Kawaii as fuck. I'm pretty sure that was the first one.
Okay,
yeah. And so we were like, oh, that's crazy, it's funny, because at the time no one had printed, like people would print anime shirts and do all this stuff, but no one would take the phrases we were all saying on the internet and stuff and like bring them on the shirt.
Right.
We were like one of the and like if you did, it was shitty. It was like, you know, just like crappy, like iron on or something. It was definitely anything high quality. And so like he had learned how to do screen printing. And so he had done this on a shirt. It was like a hot pink shirt at the time.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
And so we were like, oh, yo, that's dope. And so we kind of were like, oh, we should print more of these. And we're like, yeah. So he ended up printing a few. We like kind of, you know, mom popped it at his house, and like, you know, like we would like, you know, screen print it and like put it in this oven to like dry and stuff.
Do what you need to do, you know. And so and then we took those shirts to MacFest in 2014, I think. It was either 13 or 14. Pretty sure it was 14, because that's when we started the company, especially on Facebook. That's when I first did the page. So it was 2014, and MacFest is usually around the winter time. So so we took them and we like handed out a few to our friends, and like we were basically giving them out of our backpacks. So I don't even think we were selling them yet. We're just like giving them out. And so our friends were rocking them and stuff, and then it kind of like blew up, the MacFest, and like people were like, whoa, let's get that shirt, blah blah blah, because you know, it's a hot pink shirt. You're gonna notice this thing. You know, MacFest is a very party-oriented. It's that Cameron pink.
Video game convention, very party-oriented. So we're like rocking them at parties and stuff, like all weekend long. People like asking us about it and stuff. And then, so we did that, and we also did. We ended up doing a. We made the page. The page after that. It is like we put the shirt up. It was like cool. That was we didn't even have a story yet. We didn't even put up a story yet. And then we're just kind of like, you know, trying to get some people to like it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up doing what is it? Quiet in the Street, Hentai in the Streets. And so
that's the second one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. And then because of that, that's the shirt that blew the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
So me and him, we were administrators on the page, and we were still working at the video game warehouse at the time. It hadn't gone under yet. We were, like, a lot of this was still while we were working at the video game warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And so what had happened was he puts it up, I want to say, the morning-ish, maybe, because it was either the morning or the night before, like late night before.
Mm-hmm.
And so what had happened is we were at work, and our phone started buzzing. And we're like, what's that? And it's like, oh, is your phone buzzing? I'm like, yeah, my phone's buzzing too. It's like, oh, you must be notifications. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And like, we look at it, we're like, oh, someone liked it. No, that's awesome. All right, we put our phones down again. Mm-hmm. That's more
still blowing up.
That's kind of interesting. For the next, I want to say, hour and a half, our phones were constantly buzzing.
Wow. Okay.
Because people were sharing it, and those shares were sharing.
Yeah.
And people were commenting. So within 24 hours, our that shirt had been shared. I want to say like, one thing was like 200,000 times.
Wow.
And like it was viewed like 500,000. It was like crazy. It was like legitimately went viral.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like a video. It was like legitimately went viral. And we were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And so we're like, after that, we're like, oh, I guess we should like make a company out of this.
Yeah.
And so we kind of like, we wrangled our friends. Our friend Brian, who also worked at the warehouse with us, we wrangled him. We wrangled Amanda, who ended up being, who was like his, I don't even know if she was his girlfriend at the time. Maybe, must have been.
Yeah.
But now it's his wife, and they have a kid together. And we wrangled Chris's sister. So it was kind of cool. Like we all made a company. Chris was primarily Chris's like the first like creations, and kind of like his like thinking. So we like had him as the head guy, and kind of like that was like the origins of Kobra Kawaii when we started out. It was like through happenstance.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy that it came out like that. And it's almost, see, I'm thinking of like a wrestling term, like in terms of like you guys just doing local loops, right? And on the conventions and just your immediate area, and then just on an idea, you're like, oh, whatever.
Even like, well, it's like we started with just hanging out at conventions, at our local ones, but honestly, we were traveling around in general, just doing the whole East Coast con scene. And so like, just because of that, we've made connections and friends, because a lot of our friends are like, kind of like, a bunch of our friends are like decently big deals in conventions.
Okay.
And so we've just like made a lot of friends through that, just kind of growing up within cons, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
I would say like we like, we're in our local scene, but I would more just being around that kind of like spread it around.
Okay. So are you guys pulling back on the local scene as of right now, or just maybe just focusing on a bigger picture?
So the local scene is not a scene. Like our local scene leads 3 conventions in New England. Well, I shouldn't say that, because we do have friends that run other cons. They're like on the smaller end of things, but in cons, we're talking about big cons, like an Otakon type thing. We only have 3 cons in Massachusetts. Well, New England. I'm going to say New England because we have Anime Boston, which is the biggest one in Massachusetts, New England. There's Connecticut, and that's in Connecticut. And there's another Anime Con in New Hampshire. So those are like the big 3, and like their Anime Boston is probably like really the only one. If I was gonna hit one, that's the one I would aim for.
Okay.
But they're very weird on how they set up their convention. So like when you sign up, so a lot of like cons, they're when you sign up, it's almost like a free for all.
Okay.
So when you, uh, it's like it's almost like you when you are at one convention and you want to definitively sign up for to sell at another convention.
Mm-hmm.
They generally have tables at different conventions, and that's the 100% the best way
Mm-hmm.
for you to be in a convention to sell. We didn't know that originally. We thought you just like, oh, hey, if you want to sign up for this convention, sign up here. And we
Mm-hmm.
thought that was like what you did. And it kind of took us a little time to kind of figure out the ins and outs.
Yeah.
So if you see like a convention page and it's like, hey, you want to sign up and sell your stuff here, and you sign up on their website,
Mm-hmm.
there is a you don't know if you're gonna get it. It's very luck of the draw.
It's like a queue, huh?
Yeah, it is, but we're not sure because
Yeah.
You don't know what you hope that's what they're doing. That you hope that that's probably the most honest way of doing it, but you don't know for sure if they're legitimately doing that or if
Yeah.
they're like picking their friends first and like
Yeah.
then you end up whatever is left and you don't know. And like a lot of times what happens is those conventions, what would happen is like we wouldn't even know that we were in
Mm-hmm.
till like the month of or like a couple of weeks before.
Oh wow.
So we may not even have stock ready because they're
Yeah.
so late to the game about it.
Yeah.
And so that was always like a problem for us. But like so one of the big problems was Anime Boston is also a free for all.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's even though it's the biggest one, and a lot of times is they would hit us up, a couple of weeks before the convention. We're like, during the early days, we
Mhm.
didn't have like screen printed shirts by like the dozen. We had to like oftentimes we would do them overnight, late night sessions of getting stuff ready for Anime Boston, and
Mhm.
then you're tired and oh no, we messed up a shirt. It's like, oh, that's gotta toss that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And
man.
so like if we could do more in New England and felt like it was like giving us the money we wanted back,
Mhm.
I would definitely do all the conventions all the time. But sometimes like CCCon used to be a really poppin' convention, and then
Mhm.
like the last time I went to CCCon, I spent 500, and I spent 500 for the table, and I don't
Mhm.
even think I made that much money
Oh,
back.
you didn't get the return.
Yeah, it was just weird because I would never like when I would go to conventions in general.
Mhm.
Like I'm having trouble restocking shirts. I've
Mhm.
like sold out of shirts, and it was a very odd experience, and I
Mhm.
kind of like it turned me off from going there because I'm just
Mhm.
like I don't want to ever like be in the hole for
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
Uh, it was just like a very weird thing that happened.
Yeah. But that's
But yeah,
that's like a trial and error thing because you don't know until you get there and just you get that experience. Like, okay, well, maybe not go there next time and see what the next one is and maybe
so,
try that one out or but it's a lot of experimenting on that end, would you say?
really 1000%.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So as we're talking about you guys like just happenstance of like just finding this kind of this niche of like making these shirts that nobody was really making, and then you kind of expanded. You guys were starting to expand on like like digital content, and that's in that sense. Like, what was that like? Like, you guys still trying to do digital content, or are you guys just sticking towards the shirts, or like what do you feel as of right now the company, in terms of like the social media, like internet, like content phase?
So like so everybody's kind of like um since we started, everybody's kind of gone different paths.
Mm-hmm.
out of the original group, I'm the only one that's like still around.
Okay.
You know, it was really a hobby, you know, at first that we kind of lucked into.
Yeah.
And you know, you're friends, and we started a company together, and a company that does really well at the time. It can cause a lot of conflicts.
Sure.
And so, so we are all friends still, but we've kind of like separated, and like I'm the one that like really stuck to it, to Kobra, because I just like I feel really strongly about it, and like, you know, Chris, I feel like may have thought that this was kind of like stifling his creativity, because he was stuck in a leadership role.
Okay.
And I don't think he ever wanted to be the leader. I think he wanted all of us to be kind of like on the same level about stuff.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, he wants to get his ideas through. But it's like tough. You can't be. A lot of times you can't be the leader and the creative person on a team.
Yeah.
You sometimes need someone who's just the leader, and then you need somebody that's just the creative people.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this, like like a lot of times it's kind of like this balance, you know, like when they talk about Republicans and Democrats and stuff, like, you know, like artists tend to be more liberal, and like business people tend to be more, you know, right wing. Well, businesses like are one of the best places where those two ideas come together. You know, you may have someone who's more right wing, but they're the guy with the money. They're the guy who does the numbers and like knows what, you know, the best deals on how to do stuff. And then they talk to the creative person like, hey, what can we do to kind of expand this, like work on these ideas? And so like you kind of like balance these things out. You've got somebody who, the two people are two roles, but you come together. And I think sometimes that's what we needed more of, is like someone who's just straight up the leader, as opposed to like a little bit of everything. And I can be wrong. I'm not gonna claim to know the best ideas about business. I don't. I'm still winging it, you know. But so like everybody's kind of done this separate ways, and so for me, even early on though, I've always wanted to kind of always expand, because for us, if our best thing going right now is that, you know, when you get the most sales when you run to a convention, and then you get some off sales off of that convention, and then there's like in between times, especially during the winter times, there are really no cons during the winter. Like very few, and there's like a lull in that till like springtime again. And so for me, I've always tried to like think of ideas of like what to do during those periods, and like I've always thought about even early on, like, which is always annoying now, because I'm always late to things. Like if you talk to anyone, like my school teachers or like, you know, like in production in school and stuff like that, I always did things late, but I always had the ideas early. And so like I wanted to do videos way earlier. I wanted to, you know, and I think a part of it was because I was so into tricking culture, martial arts tricking. And we were always, even early on, trickers were way into video editing and software and like creating content, and I think that's a big part of why I think the way I think, and why I was probably ahead of the game way earlier. Because remember, like back in the day, like we were all in on that before YouTube. Before YouTube was a thing, we were all about this. And I almost feel like we all shot ourselves in the foot if we really think about it. We were ahead of the game, way ahead of the game before, you know, all these content creators. We were doing that shit back in like, you know, 2002, 2003.
2000, really? Yeah, like in the the late 90s. Yeah.
We were all about that. We were making music videos. We were figuring out editing software. We were sharing way before everybody else was sharing. Like you know, Napster and LimeWire were still like a little bit of a thing, but we were like, how do we start these samplers? Oh shit, I'm a Mike X. dude in Canada
Yeah,
randomly would
Mike X. Jeez.
ask server to like share all this sampler together. And so like I think that's why like I'm always ahead of the game. It's just me like pulling the trigger has always been behind. But I've always wanted to do podcasting in some form. I've always wanted to do that even early on. Vlogging videos I wanted to do early on. And so like it's digital space has always been like a thing for me. I've always one of the things I always paid attention to is how content creators on Instagram and Twitter kind of like blow up.
Yeah.
And like, what are they doing? What are these things that I need to be doing? And it's like one of the toughest things that I noticed, and I think they're talking about it way more now, that I find interesting, is that it's tough to constantly come up with content. And like constantly, like it's hard. Like these guys who are like making like thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, making the money. Yeah.
And like it's only now that they're like really focusing and really thinking about it and worrying about their mental health. But like I was struggling. I still struggle trying to figure out what can I do to like do constant engagement with fans without losing the fans, because like it's always a battle, because I'm always looking at the numbers. Is the numbers, if you like look at our Facebook numbers compared to like 2014, like our peak was probably like 14, 15, 16, 17, no, probably like our peak fans, and like we were like on Facebook and like we had like, you know, thousands upon thousands of fans. I think
so you have an audience there at this point, you know.
Yeah, we had an audience, and it's always a trouble to like keep that audience. You want to keep those people who connect with us social media wise versus people that come to us at cons. Because you don't want to be stale, because if you're doing the same stuff, people aren't going to buy your shit.
That is making content is a struggle. Making constant content is a struggle, because that's why I kind of like doing this as a hobby, because I don't know if I have the capacity to be able to do this full time. Just because, like, okay, I got to think about, you know, making constant content. Then I got to think about, like, what can I do different? And then, like, have yet to make, like, some sort of shirts or anything. And I kind of want to do that, but I'm like, that's another, you know, facet of, like, making content and keeping them in that sphere of, like, you know, either they're watching your stuff, they're listening to your stuff. And then the last stop is, you know, trying to keep them in that bubble of buying your stuff, if that's the case. And right now, like, I'm just focusing on, like, you know, what can I do with the time that I have, and you know, as right now, as I'm doing it as a hobby, it's not that much time, but whatever time that I do have, that I got to use that time to the best of my abilities, while, you know, of course, doing, you know, the daily life, you know, working a job, you know, being there at the marriage, that sort of thing. And, you know, you can't put that in the back burner, because then those will, you know, be negated on, and, like, you know, bad stuff can happen, that sort of thing. So, like, you got to balance all these things. Now if I'm trying to do content creating as a full-time job, like, that's a whole nother thing. So, like, I enjoy this aspect of kind of just keeping it as the hobby, but seeing where I can maybe push a little bit more on, like, maybe on the hustle side of, like, maybe I'll come out with some shirts, or maybe I'll get some gigs or whatever, some sort, and, you know, do some videos on, like, some companies or whatever. Like, you, as somebody that's creative and making content, you're kind of thinking about those things. So, like, oh, go ahead.
I'm just nodding and smiling and like,
So like, no, for you, Gabe, like, you're on the business end, but I do see that you've done a couple things. You did like a couple podcasts, like a couple years, maybe a few years ago, or like there was something that you were maybe guesting on podcasts.
trying to do make a podcast earlier last year, and it was basically Chris was still in Massachusetts,
Okay.
and like even though he's left, he's always been connected because he's my best friend. So
Yeah.
Even if he left, he's always welcome back because without him, I would not have this. And he's like my best friend, and he's like my little brother forever and ever. So no matter what I do, he's always welcome. He can do no wrong, even when he does wrong to me. So he, and then we had one of my friends from dance. We were I always wanted to kind of make a podcast around the gaming nerd otaku space, and I knew in my head I wanted to make sure it was important to me to make sure that it was two guys and a girl, because I don't want to feel like it's only our perspective on things. And like, especially in nerd space, it can get toxic. You can like, think like assholes, and I want to make sure that it's not just us being assholes. Like, it's like, look, this girl, she has the same asshole idea too. So
balances out. Yeah.
And like, I wanted to balance it, and so I was trying to do it, but it was tough to match up everybody's schedules, because I at the time I was the most free in terms of scheduling.
Yeah.
And also it was tough because I was actually going to studios. We were actually going to like, so Staples, the store. Do you have Staples over there?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so Staples over here is it's kind of like a office.
Wait, Staples. Yeah. No, we do have Staples here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's based out of like New England, Massachusetts type stuff. So they started reformatting Staples, and now they're like a multimedia type office.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So over here, they started putting podcasting spaces in their Staples.
What? Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool.
And so we were kind of like really, once again, early on the concept, they just started. I was like, wait a second, are you trying to use it?
Yeah.
And so we were like really early into that again. God damn it! What? You don't like that. Early on everything.
Hey, as long as you get them early, as long as you have, so like maybe you can find a way to like get them early and then like project. Okay, I'll put this out like in advance, but it'll be kind of new when it's getting into the sphere of people's like minds and stuff. Maybe you can configure something there.
Early in the podcasting world, it was just early because Staples just started doing them. And they're like, at least in New England, from what I can tell, podcasting spaces are very far and few between. There's like 3 places I can think of off the top of my head, and like anything else was mostly like you had to rent a music studio space to do a podcast, and like those were expensive and all that stuff. So but I was trying to do something with them. I've danced around earlier with podcasts. Like Chris had actually done a podcast with Brian years and years ago, and they were decent, but they like I don't think they just stuck to it. They probably would have done well had they stuck to it. They were telling me that they did do decent numbers years and years ago. They just didn't. It was also earlier in the podcasting like kind of sphere, so I don't think they like really thought that it was like something you could make money off of. They did it for fun.
Right.
And they had a lot of friends, and like they had fans and stuff, but they purely for fun. And so like, but we've all like always like podcasting-ish. We're trying to always multimedia. Always trying to advance the culture, advance our different areas as usual.
Yeah, I can totally see like in terms of like Kobra Kawaii as a company, like if you guys are like splintering off to doing other stuff, I mean, who's to say that you guys can't collaborate and promote whatever they're doing, and then at the same time get some promotion on your end, and then yeah, just start doing like.
Yeah, I'm always thinking like, what is the best way to um, expand Kobra Kawaii and like where like the streaming is it? I know it can't be streaming for me just because I don't play enough games. I would literally have to hire somebody to go play games for me because I'm like like legit, like I wish I could be a streamer, but my problem is like I work. Yeah. And work is like I work late and then not late. I work and then I go do martial arts and then by the time I'm home it's like late and I'm tired. And I also Uber too. So it's like I have like technically 3 jobs. Pre-corona, and so like streaming is just like super hard. Like I only finished chapter 1 of Final Fantasy VII, the new one, and I had that game since it came out. And like it's like fucking Tony Hawk's gonna come out. And
I know, oh, man, dude. Of course I'm gonna want to play that.
I don't have time to play that game. That's my problem. But yeah, and then I play fighting games. Obviously, like I have every fucking fighting game that's not a Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
Dude, I got to tell the story because we're both related in martial arts tricking, and we were both there for Loop Kicks Camp 2005. So when Loop Kicks Camp started, I was the one. It was me that was bringing the video games to whatever, like the house or hotel wherever we were at. So 2005, Gabriel comes, and you know he's talking like, oh man, I'm the best at Tekken. Like, so like, and I was the previous year I was taking everybody out on Tekken because they weren't like hardcore playing like me and you were. So like, okay, I was expecting, I'm gonna run this camp. I'm gonna run this camp. Nobody's playing as hard as I am, and then Gabe comes like, yeah, no, let's play, let's go. So, so we're playing. I believe you were picking Brian. Brian's your guy. I was picking like Law or Huang, like whoever it was. I was using at the time. I always go through the rotation like Law, Huang, Eddie, Jin, that sort of thing. So, I think we went back and forth. Like, was it like a first to 5? It was like a first to 3 or something. We were going back and forth. The very last match you won, right? You won the match, and like, all right, like I'm out, I'm done, I'm good, and you left. I was so heated that I wanted to run back. I was like, where the fuck are you going? You need to come back here. But he already left, and he went to his hotel room. I was so mad. I was just sitting there, hello darkness, my old friend. I was so mad. I was like, fuck this guy. I can't stand this guy, man. He just straight up left. I wanted the run back, dude. I so wanted the run back. But like, yeah, that was.
That is definitely not like me. I must have been like.
I don't know what it was. Like it was at the end of training. At the end of the day, all of us relaxing either before dinner or after dinner. What? Yeah. I think it was around that time. Like it was the last not the last day of training, but like we were finishing training that day, and it was either before we were gonna have dinner or it was after dinner. And then I was like, "Yo, get everybody, let's play some Tekken, let's play some video games." And you caught wind of it, and then you came, you did your thing. We went back and forth. You got the last match, and then you straight left. I'm like, "What are you doing? I got to do this again. I got to play again." But
the reason why I ran is because I was playing Brian, and I know I was constantly playing Steve.
Oh yeah.
Learning Brian. And I was probably learning.
You started off with Steve, and then you ended it with Brian. I do remember that.
Yeah, so I probably the reason why I ran away is because I was surprised that I won with Brian. Because I know I had learned a combo with him.
Yeah.
And it was what was it? It was like down, forward, 4. Rising up like 2. something like that combo. I need a controller to like do it. It's hard to do it in my head. But it's basically he does a leg trip.
Yeah.
And off that leg trip, you kind of you punch sweep trip and
you juggle him.
Jumps into like a combo.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And I know I was spamming the fuck out of that when I first learned it because it's so like sneaky. Like you can come off of like 1-2.
Yeah.
And go into it and like 1-2-1 and go into it. And it was like it was so. And back then it was like it also expanded into like this. I think Tekken 4 it let you expand into like a ridiculous like 8-string combo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think at that time I was like I had just first learned it and I was like all about that fucking combo and so like I probably was like, oh I got him, I won.
That's it. Gotta go. Gotta go.
I can think of.
Oh man, yeah. So yeah, you can ask. I think you can ask Eddie. If you remember Eddie, when he was there, like I was just sitting there, I was just silent, and then I kept playing. I think I was playing by myself after. I was so mad. But yeah, I remember that. I was starting to remember that combo now.
In my head.
Go ahead.
So T versus C. You know what game I'm talking about?
Which one?
I can't remember what the T stands for, but it's basically that game that has Gatchaman versus Capcom characters. Do you know that one?
Tatsunoko versus Capcom? Is that the one?
Yeah. Versus Capcom. Do you remember that game?
Yeah. I didn't play it myself, but like I've watched it. But yeah.
Okay, so did you see the retweet that I did?
I haven't looked as of right now. I haven't looked at anything.
I just need to explain this how because I haven't talked to anyone about how ridiculous this is.
Okay.
So in that game, I guess someone was recently playing it and they just realized this bullshit. So in the game, the wall bounce distance changes in the original T versus C, depending on whether the game's in 4:3 ratio or 16:9 ratio.
Really? There's tech there?
Yeah. Someone retweets it and goes, imagine playing a set with somebody and they counterpick the screen ratio.
Yeah. Like, no. I want 4x3.
Oh my god.
Oh jeez.
I was laughing so hard. So it's like, what?
That's nuts.
Oh my god. I want to ask if they changed on like online, but I don't think anyone really played online with it back then.
Yeah.
But imagine like you did that online. Oh my god. That's so funny.
Dude, I would. Either there would be some scrub quotes. I feel like there would be a scrub quote there. Like either us going back and forth and like somebody's gonna be a scrub quote there.
Scrub quotes is like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, for sure. I love going there.
I should have shared a lot more scrub quotes, especially when I was still playing Xbox era fighting games because I've kind of like fallen off on that. Like, but when I was playing Xbox era, I got the most beautiful scrub quotes you will ever see.
I can imagine.
I've had my life threatened. I've had my Xbox threatened. So many people are butthurt.
Yeah.
You know how much hate I get? I used to get actual voice messages from people.
Really?
Just yelling at me. This is the most dirty Steve ever. And that wasn't that great. That's the funny part. That wasn't that good. But they were just so painfully hurt by my Steve.
Yeah.
They would just like sending voicemail of just crying, yelling.
On Xbox Live? Oh gosh. Dang.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing.
That's funny. Yeah. I can check back on my PS3 and see like all the Street Fighter 4 messages I would get because like I main Guile and they're like, oh, you Sonic Boom. Like, well, yeah, that's his thing. If you can't get around it, then like, what am I supposed? You want me to like go easy on you or like just let up? Because
I played Steve and I played them. Tekken Tag 2. Tekken Tag 2 era. And what I would do is I would just play Steve. I wouldn't even play tag. And
really?
People would just get upset, and they were like, I think they thought that I thought so little of them that I would play
one person.
One character.
Yeah.
And that's not what I was doing. It's just that's legitimately the best character I can play.
Yeah.
I didn't really learn other people except for Steve and Brian. I didn't learn shit about anyone else. It had nothing to do with my. I did not think I was superior in any way, but they
you just had a Steve.
Offense.
Yeah.
People with Steve, and they're like, "You should have fixed it all the time." Like, well, why don't you beat me?
Yeah.
Why you
Learn Steve. Learn the matchup. It's okay. You know, it's like Daigo, like trashing Bonchan, like that recent video. I don't know if you've seen it. They're playing they're playing Street Fighter. Yeah, they're playing Street Fighter 5 online, and you know, Bonchan's like, you know, I was like, you know, I won Evo, and then Daigo's like, yeah, that means nothing. That's weak. That's easy wins. Like, I was like, damn. And Bonchan's like, okay, I'm gonna go then, because he's so defeated.
He was bored.
Yeah. Let's play Mahjong because you have more skill in that than Street Fighter 5. I was like, damn, Daigo, this is evil. This is Satsui no Hado, Daigo. But yeah. Yeah. That's funny, dude. That's funny. But yeah, okay. So as we were going back to the topic of making content, like, I'm trying to retrace the steps. So like, have you done any like collaborations with your friends that have kind of moved on from the main Kobra Kawaii? Have you done like stuff with them?
Like everybody, Chris is the only person that's kind of like still in a artsy kind of field, or even in like con space.
Okay.
Brian and Amanda, they're just parents right now.
Yeah.
You know, like they've got a little cute ass baby. I occasionally see them for like, like invite me down for reviews to watch wrestling stuff.
Oh, okay.
Occasionally, and like, so I get to see them occasionally.
That's cool.
And she does crochet. She's like really good at crocheting. So she does all this really cool crochet stuff. But Chris is the only one that he ended up working for a friend of ours who does he rents out arcade equipment to like conventions.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's kind of like did that, and I'm the only one that's really kind of stayed in this kind of like space of art, the
business,
the type of space.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, at this, so like, we listened to like some of the struggles, and like you want to expand, but like, you know, you have the ideas early, but yet they come out too late, sort of thing. You want to do like other like types of content, and that sort of thing. I mean, any type of struggles that you're dealing with in terms of like maybe right now that you're able to like, you know, talk about, like any type of struggles that you deal with in terms of maybe pushing.
Right now, creativity. Right now, Corona. I thought this whole Corona thing was gonna be like, when I heard it, like just sit down, I was like, oh, I'm gonna create so much shit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I have bills I need to pay. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So I like I told you before, I was doing Uber part time. Now Uber is actually my full time job.
Yeah.
Because I have I have credit card debt.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, people are always like, oh, you can pause that credit card debt. It's like, well, honestly, this is probably the best time I can do to bring my credit card debt down.
Yeah.
Because I can kind of focus all that money on work on that. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not spending my money on like going to clubs or conventions or anything. I'm not really buying anything except for this weekend because I was an idiot and spent $100 on wrestling tees.
Oh, it's okay. There was a sale. AEW, all or nothing.
Honestly, it was mostly because of the Owen Hart shirt.
Oh, Dark Side of the Ring.
Owen Hart shirt, and the money from that shirt goes to 100% of that profits go to the Owen Hart Foundation.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so I was buying that, and then I ended up buying like the Death Triangle, which is like Pac and the Lucha Brothers, and I bought my future convention drinking shirt, which was like the oh, what is it? The the party, whatever the two black dudes' names are. I forget.
House Party, something
I,
like that.
I want to say, but I know that's wrong. And I
Yeah,
can't
it's
think of
probably
what
wrong. It's like that's what's coming up to me. But yeah,
I know.
I know
Yeah,
the non Street Profits guys.
yeah. Not Street Profits. um, sorry,
Not
that's
to
a
disrespect them, but that like really like when I see them like that's I just see like Street Profits. That's what I see. That's to me though.
no. Private
Private Party.
That's
That's it. That's it. I was like, okay, just make yeah, missed the word.
I'm not sure what it says. But, so like basically, because I'm doing full time Ubering, I get to focus all that money on it, and I'm kind of like bringing my debt down.
Okay.
And so I've been doing that, and then my biggest problem though, because of Corona, is kind of like really it kills my creativity more than I thought it was gonna do, and it was kind of weird because I didn't expect it. It was something that just kind of I guess it maybe it's just like I'm tired a lot.
I mean,
And so,
you basically have like 3 jobs as you just mentioned.
yeah, I had 3 jobs, and then now I have just one full-time job.
Okay.
But it's a full-time job that you're honestly just very lethargic because you're like sitting all the time. And that's literally what I do for like 8 to 10 hours is I'm sitting in a car driving around.
Yeah.
And but also like my energy, because I'm very, very like empathetic and like people take my energy a lot. My energy goes, and so like I'm like, you have to like kind of have this, uppity beat. You gotta like actually give a fuck about the customers, or they give you bad rates.
Yeah. I mean, we're all in defense mode right now. Like with all this going on, like me at work, I'm like usually I'm more like happy, like more friendly towards being friendly. But now like if you're not wearing a mask, if you're getting too close to me, like I come off as a dick because like it's just like I gotta take care of myself because either you're not wearing a mask or you're just not being 6 feet of distance, that sort of thing. Like I have to be that because we're living in this time and we have to still work while we're dealing with all this COVID stuff.
Yeah, well, one of my big problems, my 2 big problems, is people are just assholes more now. As passengers, and so like I still have to put up a happy face, or if they give me like. I like would go like I've gone months, like almost a year, not getting a 1, and like I got 2 1s within like weeks of each other. I only know why I got one of them. A lot of the bad ratings, I don't even know why they gave it to me, but the one I got is because I gave him a lower rating because he was constantly changing the route. Like this is the route, they track me and just make sure I'm like not being weird, and he just kept changing it on me, and he wouldn't explain what's going on. And he was like, "Oh, they charge you more." I'm like, and I did want to fight him on it, but it was just like it was 100% a retaliation because I didn't give him a 5-star, so he gave me a 1. It was just like bullshit.
Yeah.
And then my other problem is because I guess people are just ballsy about what they do now.
Yeah.
I've not intentionally been involved in driving drug deals.
Okay.
You're going to a hotel.
Yeah.
You're in a hotel, and it is like anywhere between 12:30 to 2 o'clock.
Oh wow.
You go to another hotel for 5 minutes, and you go back. That's a drug deal. I've been to a drug deal like in the past couple of weeks, and it's like that like sucks because I would never ever intentionally put myself in the way that I was like a participant in any way of supporting someone.
Dude, that's a skit. That's a TikTok. That is anything like content. That is something that you should recreate. Like the dark side of Uber or whatever. Just like ride sharing, that sort of thing. Yeah.
I am the accidental getaway drug driver.
You just record. You just make these skits. Like just have your friends like just be characters and just do the whole thing. It's like 5 minutes later. It's like That was a drug deal. Time to go. Oh man, I would love to see that as a video. Like, just yeah, I would love to see that. I would laugh my ass off because, like, wow, Gabe's telling me that this is super real, and I just saw this. I just saw this somewhere. You know, yeah, put that in the bag. Put that in the bag, man.
Yeah. Another reason why I think my creativity is really off is because my puppy wakes me up early. My wife used to do that, but because I'm home, like actually home now, because I would go to work at like 10 o'clock, and so I really didn't do puppy stuff and then get ready for work. But now I'm home, I do that, and he gets me up at around 8, and I'm not an 8 o'clock person.
Yeah.
But I also, before I go driving, I make sure I work out. Because if I don't do that before I go driving, I'll never work out. And so, like,
yeah,
for me, I am a at-risk person for corona. I have asthma, and I have a lot of allergy issues that are related to my asthma. And so, like, those kinds of things corona attacks your respiratory. So a lot of there's some stuff saying that the asthma actually protects me, but most things say that it puts me in danger potentially. So the only thing I can for sure do is kind of like keep my body in check. So in the mornings, every other day I go running for a couple of miles, and then between those days I go lifting. I bought a bunch of gym equipment downstairs, put them downstairs.
Okay.
And I've been doing that, and so I get tired, work out, go Uber, and then come back home, and I'm like, creatively, my brain is dead.
Yeah, like you're done for the day.
I want to do stuff, but it's surprisingly, for me, it's like creatively drains me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we all. Yeah, no matter what the routine is, there's a schedule. It's like you have to find the time to do it, and if you have the energy, great. If not, I mean, there's always tomorrow. But like, you just pretty sure you're in the thinking like you want to get it done now, but it's gonna be a battle every single day. But yeah.
And like for me, I'm a late night owl. Like my creativity usually comes at late night when I want to work on stuff. But I also now it's just like no, I can't because I know my puppy's gonna wake me up.
Yeah.
And like I also have to be on point with Ubering because I'm like somebody if like your tiredness hits you, I'm like I don't want to be the person that like falls asleep while driving.
Yeah.
In the middle of the afternoon because I've had those moments where like the tiredness hit me and I literally had to take a nap, like in the car. I called somebody else because I knew I needed to like whatever energy I had, it like went away, and I had to like recharge for like an hour or two.
Yeah.
And so I have to like I keep an eye on that too, and it's tough to like balance everything and want to.
Yeah. No, like for sure. I understand, and I mean, me as a having this relationship for years, like I hope you can find a way to be able to do the creativity stuff at the same time while still having to do what you need to do in your real life, with all the jobs. So, but yeah, as we wind down, as we're continuing to talk about making content, like if there was somebody out there that's kind of interested in either maybe doing maybe the same path as you were in terms of like either just hitting up the con scene and start making like apparel or just being in that culture, like what sort of advice would you give that person in terms of like whatever they would want to do in that aspect? Like basically they say they want to follow in your footsteps, like what type of advice that you would give that person or the people out there?
I would say there's a couple of different things you can kind of say. Figure out what your thing is going to be. What's going to be the thing that is your niche? What's going to set you apart?
Yeah.
We kind of lucked out in the fact that we were very early in on this game, and so no one had anything like ours.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the one thing that kind of comes about that is being popular and being ahead of the game is people copy you, and so now you can take our shirt ideas and like stick it into. We will never claim we invented these phrases. No, ever, ever, ever. There's very few shirt phrases that I've actually invented, or I've been definitely one of the first ones to stick them on shirts. And one of the things you'll do is go into Google Images and you will see straight up bootlegs of our shirt.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like legitimately bootlegs of our shirts, and so also bigger companies. I'm not gonna say any names. Rhymes with Hop Pocket. They've definitely taken some of our ideas, on the shirts. But we were lucky. We come up with a niche, and now it's kind of like my job now is to keep the ideas fresh. I can't stay in the same space. If I'm gonna stay in the same space, you gotta figure out ways to do it differently.
Yeah.
I can't put the same shirt out 20 different times. You gotta figure out what other things within the space do work. How do I make this design better? How do I make these shirts maybe more intricate?
Yeah.
That's my niche in kind of like the space. I found a niche. I found an audience. Now I gotta keep it going. One of the things you got also, if you're in it, keep it fresh. You can't. I know some companies do it, but I cannot. Recently, this was something that only recently hit me because I never noticed it, and I think I was kind of lazy in my designs and coming up with a new design, or like I just didn't print out new stuff, and I thought I could get away with that. And I actually had some people come up to our table, who were fans, and it's like, oh, new stuff, and they were really disappointed, and that killed me.
Yeah.
I never had that before, so I never it's also weird for me to say I have fans too, and that's like a very weird concept for me because no one ever notices me. It's very weird to do stuff that, and you can literally say you have fans and people that are them disappointed in me because they spent money on me.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing in the world is to be able to get is wearing, and they're very, very happy about what they're wearing.
Yeah.
And people tell me a lot of times oh yeah, I love your stuff. I need to buy new shirts because I burnt a hole in this shirt. I've worn it so much. I'm like, that is one of the coolest, best compliments someone will ever tell me, is that they wear my shirt. So nowadays, these shirts are indestructible most of the time. So cool blue shirt, you have to wear it the fuck out of it and walk the fuck out of it. So that's one of the coolest things to me. But
that's cool.
Find a niche, ask questions, constantly ask questions. One of the things that we did really early on is we kind of lucked out the fact that we had a lot of friends that were and coworkers that were into screen printing, which, as odd as that sounds, if you're not in the right space, you may not even have that kind of connection. So we lucked out in the fact that one of our coworkers, when we worked at the warehouse, she actually screen printed. So Chris actually learned how to screen print from him.
Oh, okay.
And then my best friend in growing up, his dad actually owns a screen printing company, and it's whenever the Patriots actually win the AFC championship and stuff, they're the company that actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I lucked out in that. So when I early on, I would go to those guys, especially before we kind of got our setup that we currently have. We would get stock from them, and then one of the guys there that's not my friend's dad, the other guy, he's been around since the early 90s, maybe late 80s, in the company or screen printing. So he would give me a history lesson and tell me all these different things, and I can ask him questions like, hey, how do what's the process to do this color? Is it possible to do this? And like, what can I do with this? And like, I would always constantly ask him questions, and like he helped me out a lot with like what these kinds of different setups are and different like types of ways to like learn and see what might be the easiest way for me to kind of keep going with it.
Yeah.
So always ask questions.
Yeah.
Be prepared to lose money.
Nope. Yeah.
No one ever does one of these companies kind of without losing money. If you're going to kind of do it as a company, look into where the cheapest place to do an LLC is. I'm in Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, an LLC is like $500. But had I known this ahead of time, I probably wouldn't have done it in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
New Hampshire, to do an LLC is like $200 or something.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, like the difference between us in Massachusetts and New Hampshire for an LLC is like a third the difference.
Wow.
So it's just another nickname for Texas.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna do it right, do it official. Get your shit together. Conventions are if you can get your shit together, conventions are super easy to do. They want your money. They want to make it as easy as possible so they can constantly take your money. So a lot of these conventions, when you set up an LLC and you get your little tax ID and stuff like that, you do that. Like you get your PayPal ready, you get your cash ready. Once you all do that shit and you set up, they will help you. They more or less have walked you through the process of paying the taxes to the state.
Oh, okay.
So if you do not pay for those taxes, it is your own fault because these conventions have helped you. They give you a whole packet. They will give you, hey, just fill this out and send that money into the state, and you're good. That's it. And they're all about it. So get that. If you want to sell shirts at conventions, it's not, the hardest part is honestly just getting into the convention. Once you get that, everything else is pretty easy.
Okay.
Be prepared to either sell out or not sell anything. So come up with a variety of things.
Yeah.
I've honestly, one of the best gauges I did early on when I took over is kind of like using my Instagram as a tester. Especially because, oddly enough, especially now, I get more sales because of Instagram than any other place outside of mention. Facebook, you get interactions, but I look at the data, and the sales are directly coming from Instagram for the most part.
Okay.
So I use that as a gauger for what I should bring. And so my two biggest shirts I did. One I kind of had a feeling it might do well. The other one I had no idea it was going to do well. So one was the phrase like Netflix and chill, right?
Yeah.
So we all know that phrase. Yeah. So there's a kind of anime version of that that's been floating around for the past like 2 years. Is hentai with senpai.
That's right. Yeah.
I took that phrase and I made a shirt. Like I found the like Netflix kind of font, and I stuck it on a shirt, and that blew up. And then the other one is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has kind of like gotten a big push in here because they redid the anime. It's funny. I knew about JoJo way early in the anime game, like in the early 2000s. I knew about JoJo. I actually owned the like bootleg of the OVA. Like I don't know what year, because I was like really into bootleg anime before I even got into convention. So it made it be like from 2000 something.
Okay.
Um, so there's a phrase, it is I, Dio.
Yeah.
And so I took a kind of like a picture of Dio with like I think I have like a red square background under it, and I got under that I have the phrase in Japanese, and I was like, oh, it seems pretty decently popular. Like it was a meme right now. It was a meme. That's also a big thing. Is like I take ideas from memes, and I pay what's going on in the culture. And so like I did that and I put it on Instagram and it was doing pretty well. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll take some to the convention. It was that one I wasn't 100% sure on, but I like made a small batch, kind of like experiment. I'll try it out. I sold out like within, I want to say the first day I was there, or I was there, and sold out.
That's cool.
And it consistently has sold out for the past year. And so you gotta be willing to like take a risk.
Yeah.
You don't have to go all in. You know, if you sell out, they're definitely gonna buy something else. That's one of the kind of tricks I learned talking to other people, people at cons. Is it may have been Brian that actually told me this, and like I really paid attention to when Brian told me this. Was like, even though like the shirt they wanted is not there, offer them the shirt because they're more likely to buy another one because they're like really into your stuff in some way. If not, you can just offer them the website. But but you gotta be willing to do that risk. Pay attention to what's going on. I think sometimes we can get in our own heads and think our ideas are the best and the only ones, and sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. But I'm not going to say that I watch all the anime anymore. Very over the years, I've definitely honed down my taste of what I like in anime. Things pop up like Say Your Name or Say My Name. I think that was a movie like that was the one that I really liked.
Okay.
And I probably wouldn't have like watched that unless I like people had recommended a bunch. But I pay attention to memes. The memes are a big thing of why I did that JoJo. I was like, oh, these memes are blowing up. JoJo's like really kind of everybody. That phrase kind of like went beyond anime a little bit. Like people,
people use it beyond. I use it for like a GIF response.
Like gamers know it. People like who kind of in a nerdy face but don't watch anime know that phrase. And so like it's one of those things that like, oh, I'm being an idiot not sticking out a shirt.
And paying attention to memes only just makes sense if you're trying to grasp like what people of today are talking about. That just makes sense. Like, so to put an anime twist into it, I mean that's a good idea that you have there. So yeah.
We can talk to each other. Our generation and Generation Z, we're the two generations that are very meme-heavy cultures, and so it's important to pay attention to that. I'm not grabbing Generation X, or most likely, I'm grabbing my generation and the one behind me.
Yeah. And
like we're very closely tied, and that's why like politicians always mix us all up.
Yeah, right.
Blaming us for the shit that Generation Z us.
Yeah.
But like I want to pay attention to that stuff. I also pay attention to what's going on in the media. So Toonami, Adult Swim. What is the anime that is coming out in Adult Swim? Because the anime that comes out in Adult Swim is 1000% what you're going to see at a convention for like all the cosplays.
That just makes sense.
Oh, is on Adult Swim. Oh, incoming Nezuko cosplays. Like. So I have like. Demon Slayer. That one actually didn't do so well, but funny enough is like it's that's a subtle thing. It literally says Demon Slayer and like and maybe in Japanese too. And it's like it's not blatantly anime, but it's in such a design that I get more people who compliment me on the design that have no clue. That's a cool start. I'm like, oh, I guess I designed well.
Yeah. There you go. That's cool.
Yeah, you gotta experiment. You gotta be willing to take risks. You gotta be willing. You gotta set yourself up so you're not in debt if you do take risks. That's very important.
Yeah.
One of the things that I struggled with is not putting myself in debt because I want to keep it going. If it's not working, it's not working. You kind of maybe take a break, maybe you reset yourself, or maybe you mess up something else. But don't. This thing is not worth being in debt for.
For sure, for sure. That's a lot. That's all. That is all good advice. That's all great advice. If you're looking to kind of be following in the steps of like where Kobra Kawaii is, and trying to put your own footmark in there as well. But yeah, Gabriel, thank you for being on here and just talking shop and talking a little some fighting game memories and tricking memories of just all the stuff that we've osmosis have been in together. And I appreciate what you guys do at Kobra Kawaii. I wish all the success for you guys, especially during this time. Yeah, I'm always rooting for you, man. Always trying to retweet it as much as anything Kobra Kawaii as much as possible. And yeah, man, just want to support you. So I really appreciate you for being on here.
For kind of like always being around and always being a supportive friend. Thank you. It's honestly one of the coolest things is to see you kind of doing this whole like podcasting and like promoting, and like you're always interactive in social media, and I support it, and it's really great. And even if we weren't like really good friends, I would be all about it. I'm like, thank you for always being there.
Oh man, yeah, of course. And if there's ever a chance, I want that run back. I want that run back if there's ever a chance. Well, actually, first one, I need to get Tekken. Because you were shocked that I didn't have it. I need to get it, but like my internet sucks. That's the same thing. Like so it's almost like it's not worth getting Tekken if I'm not going to be able to play you on a good network. So.
Everybody's internet sucks on Tekken.
Yeah. So like, if there's ever a chance, if I'm in your area, if you're in my area, I want that run back. I want a first to 20 just so we can get that set. Okay, we did all the matches and yeah. But yeah, whenever there's a next time, we'd love to just play fighting games with you. If there's ever a chance that we can like do a video on it, I would love to do. I'll hit you up. Try to do some collaboration of some sort. On that end. So yeah. Gabe, thank you for just being on here, just talking shop, talking about Kobra Kawaii, the humble beginnings, the struggle, the hustle. I really appreciate you being here. And yeah, so if you guys want more of these type of episodes, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at Marco Polo 177. That's my personal Twitter, and at Nerd in the Bay is the official channel Twitter that sharing all the videos and content that we do. And Gabriel, as you can see on the video end, is at Kobra Kawaii with a K, not a C. Kobra Kawaii, 2 I's. And yeah, is there anything else you want to plug in particular, or is that pretty much it?
No, we are Kobra Kawaii on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the small medias. Hit us up if you listen to the podcast and you hit me up and like, hey, I heard you on the Nerd in the Bay podcast. I can hook you up with a little discount.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. There you go. Oh, I might do that. Shoot, I've been meaning to get a shirt. Since my birthday's coming up too, so hopefully we can get a shirt sometime soon. All right. Well, Gabriel, thank you for just being on here once again, guys. You can find us on Anchor. It's anchor.fm/open bar for content creators. That is the address for the audio end. And then on the video end, you can find us at Nerd in the Bay, the YouTube channel. We do a variety of videos, not only video game stuff. We try to do comic discussion, anime discussion. I've been meaning to do those two type of videos since I've been, since I'm not going anywhere. I've been watching more anime and been reading more of the comics. We do martial arts, content. We do a variety of things, because doing just strictly one thing, I would go nuts. But as human beings, we're all different, and all sorts of aspects. So that's why we do a variety of things on Nerd in the Bay channel. And yeah, once again, Gabriel, thank you for being here, and we'll see you guys next time for the next episode, season 2 of the Open Bar for Content Creators podcast. Take care, guys, and have a great day. Peace.